If you've ever stopped doing an exercise that you used to love and you thought that you were quitting, you weren't. You were adapting. Most people argue whether exercises are right or wrong. That's the wrong question. The real question is whether the exercise is right for you right now. If you've ever looked online for ideas for working out in the gym or at home, you've probably felt overwhelmed with all of the information out there. You constantly see videos rating exercises, saying whether one is the best out of all of them, one is the worst, what you should quit doing, what you should add to your workout. My personal favorite is this is the secret workout exercise pros use to make exponential gains in the shortest amount of time possible. Now, I'm not discrediting any of these exercises. I've tried a lot of them. Instead, I think that the choice of an exercise needs to be based upon what works best for your body structure, your recovery, the time you have in the gym, and other life factors, responsibilities, pets, kids, whatever it may be. So my thinking changed on this because when I was younger, I just tried to lift the same big three exercises. That's what I started with: bench press, squat, and deadlift. And then I would just add weight every week. It worked great, but then it stopped working. When you first start lifting, you have the honeymoon period. 2 to 3 years, it doesn't matter what you do, you don't have to change up anything. You're going to make progress. Well, eventually, if you don't switch it up to how your body is adapting and growing, and you don't address any kind of weaknesses, then you start getting hurt. It could be something like a small sprain or just overuse tendonitis, which both can limit what you can do. I think one of the biggest things that I've had a problem with, and a lot of people also have issues with, is detaching themselves from exercises. A lot of exercises are great, they're just great for the wrong season of life. Whenever you walk up to somebody and you can tell that they've been lifting, working out, probably the first question that they ask is, how much do you bench? It's that type of mentality that gets people stuck. And it got me stuck because now you associate what you can bench press with who you are and your progress in the gym. And that's just not the case. A lot of people will tell you that after they've been lifting for 10 plus years, they can't bench press anymore. And that's usually because of the wear and tear of doing the same repetitive motion over and over again. Now, I still do bench press, but I just do it more strategically now. So for my training, I'm very selective about what I do. I stopped marrying exercises a long time ago. Now I just use the ones that make sense and I let them go when they don't. Back to the bench press. If the bench press is hurting you and every time you lift, you end up having to take a week off from the gym, you should probably quit doing it. There's a lot of other alternatives for that pressing movement. Or you might want to try doing dumbbells. something to change the angle of when you're lifting. Because if you look at most people when they bench, your elbows are up like this. That puts a lot of stress on your bicep tendon. And that's one of the things that people hurt the most. They think it's their shoulder, but it's really their bicep tendon because your bicep actually attaches to your shoulder, not to your upper arm. But when you do a dumbbell bench press, now you can lower your elbows and you have more of a ergonomical lifting pattern. So now your wrists are here and you push up. And it takes the stress off of the bicep tendon and puts it more into the pec muscles and the attachments up here and inner chest as well too. So when it comes to weekly programming, I choose movement patterns over specific exercises. So my week is broken up into a 4-day split. Day one is going to be my upper body pushing day. Day two is going to be my squat day. I take Wednesday off. Thursday, I come back, and that's going to be my upper body pulling day. And then Friday is my hinge day or deadlift. There's 7 basic movement patterns that the NSCA recognizes. And if you're not familiar with the NSCA, it's the premier organization for strength and conditioning in the United States and across the world. Every major trainer that works for an NFL team, NBA team, college team, football, whatever sport it is, most likely has a CSCS degree from the NSCA. And that stands for Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. It's a rigorous test. You can't just take, a 2-hour online course and get your certification. You have to take a whole day test, probably 4 or 5 hours long, and it covers everything from anatomy to movement patterns. Well, the NSCA and the CSCS identifies 7 major movement patterns. You have your upper body, or vertical, horizontal, push and pull. Those are grouped together. Then you're going to have your squat pattern. You're going to have your hinge, which is deadlift. You're going to have your lunge. You'll have a rotational pattern. And then you finish up with a locomotion or a carry. So farmer's walks, for example. So again, it's vertical and horizontal pushing, vertical and horizontal pulling, squat, lunge, hinge, rotation, which is your ab work, and then locomotion. So what I do is I program that into my weekly split. Now you can see why I have 2 upper body days. A lot of people like to do an upper lower day off, upper lower day off, which is fine if you can handle it. For me, my body needs a little bit extra recovery when I work a movement pattern. A week is what works best for me. It always has, and it just does. Especially now at my age and my experience, I need a little extra recovery. Now, when it also comes to choosing these exercises, I'm very deliberate. An exercise selection should reduce friction, not add to it. You need to, this is what I do. I personally choose exercises that don't hurt, exercises that aren't going to cause inflammation, exercises that aren't going to keep me out of the gym. So back to my weekly split, I'll do a bench press and then I'll follow it up with an incline press for the second exercise. Then I'll do some kind of overhead pressing, usually in that order to keep my shoulders warmed up. And before I even do the bench press, I'll do lateral raises to get the blood into my shoulders and also to help lubricate the joints with synovial fluid. It just gives you more support for that tissue. Now, if the bench press is hurting, then I'll quit doing it and I'll switch up to dumbbell press. And then I might do, instead of incline dumbbells, I'll do an incline barbell press. And if my shoulders are kind of hurting, instead of doing an overhead push, then I might do something on an incline doing dumbbells. Then I also incorporate arms on the first day, uh, biceps and triceps, and I superset them just to make everything fit into the work better or the week better. So then Tuesday squat day, pretty self-explanatory, but I'll do squats, I'll do lunges, and there's so many different types of squats. If a barbell squat hurts, don't do it. I use a squat safety bar. It just works better for my body than doing the traditional squat with a regular barbell. Finish up with some lunges. And for my lunges, I try to get just the maximum range of motion for the synovial fluid. Uh, Finish up with some reverse Nordics, and then throw in some calf work, depending upon what my goals are at that point. If I'm doing a lot of jumping and running, then I'm probably not going to include as much of calf work. And the main reason is because every time you land, you're getting 6 times the force of your body weight on your calves. So if you weigh 200 pounds, that's 1,200 pounds. You're not going to be able to put 1,200 pounds on any kind of machine in the gym and do calf raises. You're just not. Wednesday rest day. Thursday is when I do upper body pulling, which is your back, and that's divided up into 3 different sections. I'll go over more of that in some upcoming videos specifically. But basically, you have a horizontal pull-ups, pull-downs. Then you have a, well, that's vertical, I meant. Then you have a horizontal, which is going to be like a T-bar row, dumbbell row, barbell row, whatever it is. And then I'll also do some kind of high chest row to work the upper muscles in your back, like your rhomboids, your rear delts, teres major, teres minor, things up there. Then I'll do some kind of bent over lateral for your rear delts and finish up with some shrugs. And not your traditional shrugs for your upper traps, but the shrugs I do work more of your lower traps, right between your shoulder blades, which helps more with posture and athletic performance in everyday living. And then end up with the hinge on Friday. Deadlifts, I prefer a trap bar. It just, for me, it's a better range of motion. Keeps my arms on my side. Um, and if you're looking up trap bar, also check out a hex bar. It's the same thing. Then I'll do seated good mornings, and you can really actually work some of your abductor muscles as well too if you do those. Adductors are the inner thigh muscles, which helps stabilizing the knee. And when they're strong, you tend to have less lower body issues. And then after that, just throw in some other stuff to kind of work the hinge. Tuesday and Friday are a lot shorter because everything is more intense. The weights are heavier. You're doing more, putting more stress on your body. Now, when I do a mesocycle or set up my 4 week cycle, I'm looking towards how it's going to affect me in the long run. Because my ultimate goal is not to be the strongest, not to be the fastest, not to be the biggest, but be able to survive life and be able to move, be able to run, be able to sprint, be able to play with my son. The goal isn't to prove how strong you are. The goal is to stay capable, being able to do the things you love for the longest time possible. If this resonates with you and this is the type of stuff you want to hear, then stick around. If you got questions, ask me. I'm an open book. I'll try to answer it to my best ability. And I'm definitely going to cover more specifics when it comes to actual workouts and programming and upcoming videos.